Well, hello everyone. This is a little experiment. It's the first time we're trying a parody story on this channel. Today's tale is called The Bone Demon. It's a love story. Technically, there are demons, romance, and unfortunately, a fair amount of skincare drama.
Well, so basically, a skeleton who wants a boyfriend. I mean, good for her, confident and all.
Right. Anyway, we hope you enjoy this supernatural parody. Please don't take it too seriously, or try any of the beauty routines mentioned.
Especially not the 99 Skins one. Not exactly proper skincare, is it?
All right then, let's begin. I put on a beautifully painted human skin and disguise myself to find a human husband. My husband is delicate, clean-cut, and quite the coward. He faints at the sight of a chicken being butchered. To avoid scaring him, I've always pretended to be a gentle, frail human woman. That is, until one night. I was so hungry I couldn't bear it anymore. So I slipped out to find some bandits to feast on. When I turned around, I ran straight into my husband, his mouth smeared with crimson blood as he devoured the corpse of a bandit. He and me. My name is Yixian, and I'm an ancient demon. It might be hard to believe, but before I became a demon, I was actually a human physician. One day, while gathering herbs, I accidentally fell off a cliff and landed by the base of a 1,000-year-old fallen tree. Fueled by the tree's spiritual energy, my decomposed bones reformed centuries later, turning me into a bone demoness. Even though I became a demon, my power was incredibly weak. I couldn't even assume a human form, forced to wander the mountain daily as a skeletal frame. All the demons, big and small, looked at me and sighed. What a shame. A demon so ugly. No flesh, no blood, no fur, and not even a scrap of skin. Sorry to disappoint with my looks, I would grumble. Later I watched as the other demons on the mountain found love, married, and had children one after the other. I, however, had lived 2 lives, one human, one demonic, and had never even held an opposite-sex hand. Tiger Demon Sister Wei, Xiao Lian, asked me, Shue, are you resigned to this? I ground out my answer. I am not resigned. All right then, she said. For the sake of our friendship, I'll help you. The next day, Sister Xiao Lian taught me the skin painting spell. The first step was to go to a mass grave within a few hundred miles. I had to dig up the graves of 99 recently buried women and take the best, most supple piece of skin from each. I then pieced them together with magic and used a master's skill to paint a beautiful face onto the skin. This was how the painted skin was made. I crafted this skin with extreme caution. When I finally put it on, the other demons on the mountain were speechless. No one called me ugly again. Sister Xiao Lian promptly kicked me down the hill. Go on. Use the skin and find yourself some love. I entered a village at the foot of the mountain and became the local physician. Village life was quiet and peaceful. Living there often made me feel as if I had never died at all. Over time, I almost forgot my original goal, to find a man. Then, one day, the villagers found a man while chopping wood and carried him back. They brought him right into my house. Miss Shue, come take a look. Can he be saved? I leaned over and saw the man lying on the floor. He was covered in wounds left by wild beasts, but his face was handsome, refined, and flawless. I immediately nodded. Yes, I can save him. I guarantee his life. I quickly shooed the villagers out. I used my magic to mend the man's wounds, and once I confirmed he was out of danger, I leaned close to his face, looking him over. As everyone knows, demons have to eat, and a demon's food is the vital energy, jing qi, of a living person. I'd often heard the old demons on the mountain say that the jing qi of handsome people was especially delicious. I truly wondered what this man's vital energy tasted like. Should I try a bit? I swear I absolutely was not trying to kiss him. I brought my mouth close, right to his lips, just about to sample a tiny fresh taste. Suddenly he opened his eyes. His dark eyes stared straight at me. We were locked in a gaze, nose to nose, with my lips pursed. He and me. I thought you weren't breathing, so I was giving you CPR to save you. See? I brought you back to life, I stammered. The man blinked, then nodded in sudden understanding. So that's what it was. Thank you for saving my life, miss, he said. He actually believed me. He was surprisingly and utterly innocent. The man said his surname was Lin, his given name Yixian, Lin Yixian, and he was a scholar from Lin village. He had gone into the mountains to pick mushrooms but ran into a pack of wolves. Fortunately, Miss Shui-Shui's medical skills are superb. You snatched me back from the king of hell himself, he said. Lin Yixian was so grateful that he even tried to give me a deep formal bow. I looked at him, completely wrapped in bandages, and shoved him back onto the bed. If you really want to thank me, just get well soon. Once Lin Yixian woke up, I lost the urge to drain his jingqi. Besides, the thought was a sudden, impulsive one. Also, the man was weak as a chicken. His pulse was so faint I could barely feel it, and his entire body was a wreck of wounds and illness. It took half a month of recovery to heal his injuries enough for him to get out of bed, but his illness was persistent. He'd walk a few steps and cough up blood. He'd stay up a little late and cough up blood again. He'd catch a cold wind and, you guessed it, cough up blood. He even coughed up blood after seeing me slaughter a chicken. If I were the king of hell, I'd be absolutely sick of him. What a flickering pest, right under my nose. Old Mrs. Cheng in the village would look at him and sigh. Oh, Lin, your body's like the radish I ate this morning. Lin Yixian. Ah, old Mrs. Cheng? Mrs. Cheng, crisp and ready to snap. Lin Yixian. But I have to admit, his frail, delicate, sickly beauty look really spoke to me. As I boiled his medicine, I couldn't help but let my imagination run wild. Humans probably feel the same way about cute cats and dogs, I thought. So adorable. I want to sit on it and crush it. But what to do? Under my careful nursing, Lin Yixian's health finally improved. To repay me, he bravely volunteered to help me gather herbs. So Lin Yixian and I went into the mountains together. Be careful, I warned. I heard the wolves that attacked you are still in the mountain. Don't run into them again. But as luck would have it, we practically summoned them. Just as we were about to finish gathering the herbs and leave, the wolf pack suddenly appeared. They glared fiercely at Lin Yixian, their sharp fangs dripping with foul, slimy saliva. After a few growls, they lunged straight at Lin Yixian. I was terrified. This was my hard-won, sickly beauty. With his frail body, there was no way he could survive another attack. I quickly threw myself to the ground and covered Lin Yixian, positioning myself in front of him. The lead wolf's claw slashed into my arm, and I heard the sickening thud of flesh being ripped. I screamed and clutched my arm in agony. Damn it! My skin. This beautiful skin I worked so hard to get. I was gritting my teeth in pain and distress. I looked up and saw that Lin Yixian's already pale face had turned even whiter. His eyes were filled with distress and worry. Shui, it's nothing. Just a flesh wound, he insisted. I tried to subtly use my magic to drive the wolves away, but when I turned my head, I saw the entire pack tucking their tails and backing away, as if they had seen something terrifying. My first thought was to touch my face. Did I accidentally reveal my true form? Lin Yixian was terribly nervous. He scooped me up into a bridle carry and started running down the mountain. Don't be afraid, Shui. I'm taking you home right now. I worried that his small frame would collapse and he'd drop dead on the spot. Fortunately, my hard work hadn't been in vain. Lin Yixian's body was much better. After sprinting with me all the way, he only managed to cough up blood and faint. He was still alive. The next day I fixed the skin on my arm and was about to go check on him when I ran into a group of hunters returning to the village. They looked incredibly grim. Curiously, I went over. What happened? Did the wild wolves in the mountains all die overnight? And they died in a horrible way. Yes, and the wolf corpses all had massive claw marks on them, one of them said. Looks like an even bigger, fiercer beast has appeared in the mountains. Mistress Sue, you need to be much more careful when you go gathering herbs now, another warned. I blinked. I was just about to go settle the score with those wolves after my skin was mended. What kind of beast got to them so fast? Still, if there was a new beast in the mountain, I did need to be careful. After all, this skin is very fragile, and if it gets damaged again, I might not be able to fix it. By summer, Lin Yixian's wounds and illness were nearly gone. He mentioned he had no close family and asked if he could stay in our village. I told him, there are no idlers in our village. You should find something to do. Lin Yixian thought about it, and the next day he opened a private school as a teacher. Most of the villagers couldn't read and were sorely in need of someone like him. Everyone was thrilled and quickly sent their children to Lin Yixian. He set up the school in my courtyard, and when I had nothing else to do, I'd listen in with the mischievous kids. Lin Yixian's voice was clear and melodious. It made me drowsy. That is, until the little students started asking questions. Teacher, what does this line mean? In the morning, find the road to your house, and by evening you must die. Lin Yixian thought for a moment. It means, in the morning, listen for the path to your house, and by evening you're toast. You will die. I, who had been listening hazily, suddenly snapped awake and stared at him. Another child asked, Teacher, what about this line? A warrior cannot but be strong and resolute, for the burden is heavy, and the road is long. A warrior can't raise a brow or flex his bicep because the goods are too heavy, and the delivery point is too far to walk to. Then what about? When your parents are alive, do not travel far, or if you do, your whereabouts must be fixed. Your parents are in my hands, so you can't run away. Even if you do, I'll come and catch you. Is that the correct interpretation? I scratched my head. Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it, especially since I'd been dead for hundreds of years, and had forgotten all the scholarly texts I'd read as a human. Old Mrs. Cheng next to me was nodding enthusiastically. A scholar indeed. Such literary talent. He's sure to raise a few strong workers for our village. I nodded, agreeing profoundly. The village had a bully named Zhang Buxiao Li. He'd been harassing me since the day I arrived. I ignored him, but he kept pressing his luck. He came again that day, with a face like a toad, blowing me kisses. Shui Shui, I'm telling you, there's no better man than me in all the surrounding villages. It's a blessing you can't beg for in 100 lifetimes that I'm willing to take you as my wife. Why are you still thinking about? We're a perfect match. I gave a fake smile. A match for your grandpa? Zhang Xiaoli was shocked. My grandpa? He's 80 years old. You're interested in him. You have very specific tastes. I didn't bother arguing and turned to go inside. Through the window, I saw Lin Yixian staring at Zhang Xiaoli. His usual gentle gaze was now tinged with a deep, unsettling gloom. That night, I took off my skin to reapply the makeup when I suddenly heard a knock at the door. Sue, Sue, Lin Yixian said. I have something I want to talk to you about. I was so startled I scrambled to put the skin back on. In my haste, I put it on all crooked. My eyes were slanted, and my mouth was lopsided. With no time to fix it, I only opened the door a crack, covering my face with a hand. Talk about what? Because of my crooked mouth, my words were slurred. This, however, caused Lin Yixian's expression to change drastically. Shui, are you crying? I'm not. That scoundrel. He actually made you cry. Before I could properly explain, Lin Yixian turned and walked away. His figure was thin and frail. The next day, I suddenly heard that Zhang Xiaoli had broken his leg. He was walking on flat ground and inexplicably fell, crying and howling. The whole village rushed out to watch the commotion. Serves him right. That's what he gets for being such a bully, the villagers commented. Zhang Xiaoli glared at the speaker. You wait. When I recover, you won't get off easy. He didn't forget to yell at me. Sue, you wait. As soon as I'm well, I'm marrying you. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm not interested, I thought. However, Zhang Xiaoli clearly underestimated the extent of his bad luck. For a long time after that, if he walked, he'd fall every 3 steps. All the birds in the village would fly over just to poop on his head. He'd try to drink water, and it would splash on his face. He'd try to eat, and he'd choke. He sat under a house, and a tile fell and hit him right on the head. Zhang Xiaoli was terrified. He knelt and wept. I didn't do anything wrong. Please, Lord in heaven, have mercy, forgive me. The response was a bolt of lightning on a clear day, which then chased him around to strike him. The whole village watched, snacking on melon seeds and fruit. We're just saying he's really getting his comeuppance, they murmured. He is, isn't he? Even the Lord in heaven can't stand him anymore, another said. Lin Yixian stood at the back of the crowd, hands clasped behind his back, looking enigmatic. I looked at him curiously. He gave me a gentle smile. Sue, he'll never bother you again. That's true, I thought. It's questionable if this cursed man will even survive this lightning strike. Zhang Xiaoli didn't die, but the next day he crawled and wept his way out of the village. Just goes to show, man proposes, heaven disposes. Those who do bad things always get their just deserts eventually, the villagers said. I returned to my long-awaited peace. The royal patient. Until one day, I went into the mountains for herbs and found a person. He was covered in wounds and barely breathing, but he radiated a strong, rich imperial dragon aura. He was clearly a member of the royal family. Royals are born with the dragon aura protecting them, so evil spirits have a hard time getting near them. Just being close to him made me uncomfortable. Our village was close to the royal hunting grounds, and in one of those typical soap opera plots, this person must have been assassinated during the hunt. He must have collapsed from exhaustion while fleeing into the mountains. I crouched beside him for a long time, weighing my options. Finally, I suppressed my discomfort and hoisted him onto my back. Saving a future emperor could earn me vast merits and virtue. It's worth the trouble. Of course, the more important reason was that he was handsome. I carried him home, gave him some medicine, and woke him up. When he saw me, he immediately blushed and stared. Did I die and go to heaven? Are you a fairy? Sorry, I'm a demoness, I said. You're not dead. I'm a doctor. Here, drink this medicine. I brought him a bowl of medicine. While I was feeding him, we chatted, and I learned his name was Xiao Wu. He was 25 and unmarried. He made a point of emphasizing the unmarried part. May I ask the name of the beautiful lady? Are you married? He asked. Although I like your face, we only just met. That's a bit forward, isn't it? I replied. Besides, I'm hundreds of years old. Saying it out loud might scare you to death. After feeding him the medicine, I went outside and saw Lin Yixian standing by the door. He was staring into the room with a cold expression, his face looking somewhat dark. He wouldn't talk to me. I was confused. I've saved people before, plenty of times. You were even saved by me in this very room. What are you sulking about? I'm not sulking, Lin Yixian finally said, after a moment of silence. It's just this person. I really don't like him. Lin Yixian genuinely couldn't stand Xiao Wu. However, Lin Yixian took over all the chores of taking care of Xiao Wu. He brought the food, changed the bandages, and even fed him the medicine. Whenever I tried to do something for my patient, Lin Yixian immediately stepped in. Xiao Wu complained tearfully. "Why is it always you coming? Where is Miss Shui Shui? Shui Shui has her own matters to attend to," Lin Yixian said. "Stop bothering her." When I came in, drawn by the noise, I saw Lin Yixian angrily shoving the bowl of medicine into Xiao Wu's hands. "Drink it yourself." Xiao Wu quickly glanced at me, and the next second I heard a yelp. The bowl dropped to the floor, and the scalding medicine spilled all over his hand, turning his delicate skin bright red. He immediately looked up at me, red-eyed and wronged. "Miss Shui Shui." "I don't know what I did wrong. Why does Scholar Lin dislike me so much that he threw the medicine at me? It's a shame about the medicine you worked so hard to boil, Miss Shui Shui." Lin Yixian was gritting his teeth in fury, but he quickly turned to face me. "Shui Shui, I didn't do anything. Believe me." I'm a doctor, not a judge," I said. "Deal with your own issues." I glanced at the broken bowl on the floor. "Since you don't want to drink your medicine, don't drink it today. Missing one day won't kill you." Almost instantly, Lin Yixian's expression brightened. As for Xiao Wu, this time he truly cried. I took Lin Yixian outside. He followed me obediently, beaming with a wide smile. In this state, he strangely reminded me of Old Man Wang's big yellow dog. As I mused on whether to reach out and pet his head, I suddenly heard him call out, "Shui Shui?" Will you always be on my side?" This was a serious question. I thought long and hard and finally gave my answer. "That's not certain. If someone better looking and more outstanding than you shows up, my values will probably follow a man's looks." The smile on Lin Yixian's face abruptly froze. The next day, I noticed a change in Lin Yixian. He was carrying a small bronze mirror and would constantly take it out to look at his face, left and right, clearly dissatisfied. I was curious but didn't ask. I continued to carefully boil medicine and then brought it to Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu had learned his lesson this time and quietly began to drink it. But as soon as he took the first sip, his face turned the color of a bitter melon. "Why is this so bitter?" "It's more bitter than before." "Because it's making up for the bowl you knocked over the other night," I said. Xiao Wu immediately shut up. For many days after, he would wrinkle his face and grimace with bitterness every time he drank his medicine, but he didn't dare to complain. Half a month later, he was well enough to get out of bed. The first thing he did was rent the house next to mine. Lin Yixian said, "Our village doesn't support freeloaders. If you want to stay, you must provide some value." Xiao Wu thought about it. "Then, I know a bit of martial arts. I'll teach the children to practice." Before I could say anything, old Mrs. Cheng clapped her hands. "That's wonderful. My little grandson loves playing with swords and spears. He's been wanting a master." So Xiao Wu also had a job. In the mornings, the children attended Lin Yixian's class, and in the afternoons, they went to Xiao Wu's. When I had nothing to do, I'd peek at the left side, then the right, occasionally enjoying the spectacle when the two of them argued. Lin Yixian claimed Xiao Wu knew nothing about martial arts and was a terrible teacher. Xiao Wu argued that Lin Yixian was completely ignorant of poetry and literature and was misleading the children. And it wasn't just about their jobs. They were constantly competing for my attention. If Lin Yixian helped me process herbs, Xiao Wu would watch the fire for my simmering medicine. If Lin Yixian swept the courtyard for me, Xiao Wu would gather my clothes when it rained. When Lin Yixian picked flowers from the mountain for me, Xiao Wu would bring a basket of fruit. Even old Mrs. Cheng couldn't stand it anymore. "Mr. Lin, Mr. Xiao, you two need a rest. Look how much trouble you're causing poor Shui Shui." I nodded repeatedly. I was exhausted from having to manage both of them, end-to-end diplomacy, lately. Suddenly, a commotion came from the village entrance. I looked up and saw a large group of people dressed in black walking in. Xiao Wu also noticed them and froze. How did they get here so fast? The group walked right up to Xiao Wu and knelt, their voices booming like a great bell. "Your subordinates are late. Forgive us, Your Royal Highness, the Crown Prince. We beg the Crown Prince to return to the palace." I always knew Xiao Wu wouldn't stay in the village for long. His dragon aura was getting stronger, which meant the position of the world's most honored human was about to be his. Xiao Wu immediately found me, his voice cautious and nervous. "Shui Shui, will you come back to the palace with me?" "The moment I saw you, I fell for you," he continued. "My position as the Crown Princess has been empty for many years. Only you are worthy of it." "Please don't say that, Your Royal Highness," I said, gently refusing. "You don't know me at all. You don't know my past or where I came from. We've only been together for a short month or two. How could our feelings run that deep? Are you kidding me?" While I did want a husband who was a dragon among men, a brilliant, outstanding person, I wasn't a masochist. If I, a demon, went to the imperial palace, the guardian beasts there would surely tear off my skin and rip out my tendons. Besides, even though I didn't understand love, I knew that Xiao Wu was only in love with my beautiful painted skin, not the real me. But my refusal only made Xiao Wu more anxious. "But Shui Shui, I really do love you. I can't live without you." "No one is indispensable, Your Highness," I said. "I like my freedom." I turned to leave, but Xiao Wu grabbed my arm without a word. "Sui Sui!" I almost screamed. The moment he grabbed me, the burgeoning imperial energy, mixed with the intense dragon aura, surged toward me. The skin on my previously injured arm tore open, revealing the white, bone-dry skeleton underneath. Suddenly, a hand grabbed Xiao Wu's wrist and brutally yanked it away. It was Lin Yixian. He covered me with his body. "Xiao Wu, Sui Shui doesn't want to go with you. Didn't you hear her?" "Stay out of this!" Xiao Wu snapped. "I'm speaking to Sui Shui. This is none of your business." The two men started arguing again. I, however, was clutching my rapidly deteriorating arm. "No! If I don't fix this right away, the skin on my entire arm will peel off." Desperate to escape, and with no other options, I grabbed Lin Yixian and pulled him close. "I apologize, Your Highness, but I've already committed to Lin Yixian. That's why I can't go with you. Please, let me go." The moment the words left my mouth, both men froze. One looked about to burst into tears. Xiao Wu. The other looked so delighted he could take flight, Lin Yixian. But I didn't stop to look. I rushed back to the house, stripped off my skin, and frantically began repairs. It was evening by the time the skin was mended. When I left the room, twisting my stiff neck, I saw Lin Yixian standing right outside my door. He had been there for who knows how long. His ears and cheeks were bright red. "Xiao Wu is gone. He left quite sad," he said. "Oh, I know." "That thing you said, was it true?" I finally realized what I'd blurted out to escape the situation. "Ah, that. I just said it to get rid of him. It was an impulsive lie." "But I believed it," Lin Yixian said, stepping closer. He looked at me with intense, sincere concentration. "Shui Shui, I believed it." Under the assault of his gaze, my centuries-old cold skeleton suddenly felt warm in the area where my cheeks would be. Perhaps seeing my embarrassment, Lin Yixian relented. Shui Shui, you don't have to give me an answer now. Just keep looking at me. I promise I will find a way into your heart. Sister Xiaolian always told me that a husband must be chosen with extreme care, and sincerity is key. You must never give your heart away easily. She had spoken with such profound emotion. Love is wonderful, but if you choose the wrong person, the consequences are anything from heartache to losing your body and your spiritual path. Other demons in the mountain said that Sister Xiaolian, like me, once went down the mountain to find a husband. She vanished for nearly 1,000 years and returned with severe injuries, completely changed. She never left the mountain again. Sister Xiaolian must have gone through something terrible to speak this way, so I dared not ignore her warning. Thus, I was very cautious about Lin Yixian's pursuit. Every single day, Lin Yixian would knock on my door. He would smile as we processed herbs together, and came with me to gather herbs in the mountains. If we ran into any wild beasts, he would immediately protect me. Sometimes his face flushed. He'd talk to me about our future. I started to think, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to have him as my husband. Then, a travelling opera troupe came to the village. Many people went to watch, and curious, I followed them. The performance was excellent, and the crowd cheered, but the more I watched, the colder my heart became. The play was called The White Snake. A serpent demon with 1,000 years of cultivation falls in love with a human man, marries him, and has a child. Ultimately, because she goes against the way of heaven, she is imprisoned under the Leifeng pagoda by a monk. I suddenly came to my senses. I'd been a demon for hundreds of years, but I used to be human. How could I have forgotten? The path of humans and demons are separate. Since ancient times, how many demons who got together with humans ever had a good ending? Right now, I have the face of a beauty because of this painted skin, but fundamentally, I am a terrifyingly ugly skeleton. If Lin Yixian found out my true form, would he still treat me this well? No. The more I think about it, the more anxious I get. I immediately returned to the village, took one last look at the small courtyard I had managed for half a year, and at Lin Yixian teaching his students. Then I resolutely turned and ran away. Time to go. I should find a demon husband who is a proper match. That's the sensible thing to do. I made it to the edge of the village when I heard a cry for help. From the river nearby, a child had fallen in. Ah, well, I'll do one last good deed before I leave. I immediately jumped into the river and pulled the child ashore. Just as I was about to climb out, I saw Lin Yixian running toward me. His face was frighteningly white, and he was tearing off his outer robe as he ran. "Shui, Shui, hold on, I'm coming to save you right now." It was autumn, and the river water was freezing cold. With Lin Yixian's sickly constitution jumping in, I genuinely feared he'd drop dead on the spot. I immediately used my magic to control the water, creating a surge that swept over my head. I let the current pull me away at high speed, so fast that even if he jumped in, he couldn't follow. I played the part of a person about to drown. Before I vanished beneath the water, I didn't forget to yell a heartbroken message. Lin Yixian. Let's be husband and wife in the next life. Lin Yixian's cries for me were utterly heartbreaking. It pained me to hear it, but I was a selfish demon who didn't want to end up like the white snake. A short, sharp pain, then a long, drawn-out one. So, better. My role is preserved. This demon is making a run for it. Back in the mountain, I had nothing to do. No patients to treat, no small talk with the elderly, no gossiping with the young wives, and no watching the children sneak bites of my dried fruit. It was so boring. Sister Xiaolian asked me, "You just came back like that. Are you truly over him?" "What good would it do to not be over him?" I replied. "We're from different worlds. Better for us to go our separate ways and find happiness on our own. That's for the best. As for Lin Yixian, I'll probably never cross paths with him again in this life. But I didn't want to hear about Lin Yixian. The gossip-loving demons in the mountains kept sending me updates. Sue, that sickly man has been searching for you by the river for 3 days and 3 nights straight. What? With Lin Yixian's small frame, how is he managing that? Sue, the man is so desperate he's crying because he can't find you. What? Lin Yixian actually cried. Shui, another man, one with a full-blown dragon aura, showed up with a lot of soldiers to look for you by the river. Xiao Wu is here too. Shui, the river is swarming with people. They're searching downstream and upstream, and they're about to enter our mountain. I jumped up in shock. They're really coming. My reflex was to turn and bolt, but before I could get far, someone rushed out and embraced me. It was Lin Yixian. He was covered in scratches from tree branches, and his face was incredibly pale. He held me tightly, sobbing. Shui, I knew you weren't dead. I finally found you. I was scared to death. Bad news. The faked death plan failed. What do I do now? Watched by a crowd of curious demons, I was utterly helpless and returned to the village with Lin Yixian. Xiao Wu also breathed a sigh of relief when he saw I was safe. But you were swept away by the water, he mused. How did you end up in the mountains upstream? That's the kind of dense but useful brain you get from a future emperor, I thought. Fortunately, before I could come up with a good excuse, the guards around Xiao Wu were urging him to return to the palace. Xiao Wu sighed deeply and asked me one last time, Shui, are you absolutely sure you don't want to come back to the palace with me? Lin Yixian immediately stood next to me and grabbed my hand tightly, his voice brimming with pride. Shui already said she loves me. She wants to be my wife. You should go back where you came from. Xiao Wu looked like he was about to cry again. He walked away with a heavy sigh, looking back at me with every third step. I wanted to sigh too, because Lin Yixian, after getting me back, was terrified of losing me. His eyes were glued to me. If I touched anything that could possibly be a danger, he'd immediately look nervous. The next day, I went to give old Mrs. Cheng medicine for a cold. Right outside her door, I saw Lin Yixian surrounded by a group of the village's elderly men and women. When they saw me approaching, Lin Yixian immediately flushed red, and the others scattered. What were you all doing, Lin Yixian? We were discussing a very important matter, he replied. The next day, I found out what that important matter was. Lin Yixian had asked Mrs. Cheng to act as his proxy to propose marriage to me. Mr. Lin didn't know the proper wedding procedures, so he asked us, Mrs. Cheng explained. When we told him he needed someone to propose on his behalf, but he has no parents, he asked me, an old woman, to come. Mrs. Cheng pointed to the large chests filling my courtyard. He spent the whole night preparing those betrothal gifts. Good heavens. He looks so poor, but I didn't realize he was so wealthy. These gifts are more than all the betrothal gifts in the whole village combined. Seeing my silence, Mrs. Cheng said gently, Shui, Mr. Lin is sincere about you. I was quiet for a moment. I told her I needed to think about it. That night, I went back to the mountain to find Sister Xiaolian. Sister Xiaolian flicked her long tail and looked at me. What? Hesitating again? Yes, I admitted. After all, humans and demons are separated by fate. But when it comes to love, whether human or demon, all roads lead to the same destination, Sister Xiaolian said, smiling softly as she gazed at the moon. The mistake I made was falling in love with a man whose heart already belonged to someone else, and I foolishly tried to steal his love. In the end, I lost. I was willing to be sealed away for it, and the process was painful, but I don't regret loving him. Sister Xiao Lian was a truly free and unrestrained spirit. I was not as brave as her. I didn't even dare to try to love. I thought all night. The next day, I returned to the village and accepted all the gifts. Ultimately, I decided to take the risk. If I choose wrong, bah! I, Yuxue, have excellent taste. I won't choose the wrong person. The day of the wedding, the entire village was bustling. While I waited for the groom, Mrs. Cheng put an apple in my hand and told me to eat something. I nibbled on it dryly. I was so nervous I couldn't taste a thing, and my mouth was dry. Mrs. Cheng quickly gave me water. During the ritual of bowing to heaven and earth, I could clearly feel the rapid drumming of the heart of the person next to me. I suddenly wanted to laugh. I'm not the only nervous one. As the village elder finished the ceremony, Lin Yixian gently and carefully took my hand, holding it with immense reverence. I secretly lifted a corner of my veil and saw Lin Yixian looking intently at me. His dark eyes were completely filled with my reflection. However, when the villagers yelled for us to be escorted to the bridal chamber, and once the door was closed, I suddenly sat up in the middle of the night. Wait a minute, does a normal man not touch his new bride on the wedding night? Is he impotent? The next morning I watched Lin Yixian bend over to wash his face, and my heart was heavy. Even though I was a demon and, for the sake of his health, couldn't truly consummate the marriage, this was an actual problem for a man, big or small. His health was already poor. If this hidden illness wasn't cured, what if it got worse? So that day, I prepared a medicinal tonic for him. When I brought the medicine to Lin Yixian, he looked utterly confused. "I'm not the one who can't get up," Lin Yixian suddenly said. Then he began to kiss me. This was the first time we had been so intimate. The kiss was messy, and I didn't know how to respond. After a moment of us rookie kisses, fumbling awkwardly, Lin Yixian's breathing suddenly became shallow and rapid. I was horrified. You... Lin Yixian held me, his voice low and suppressed in my ear. Sue, never doubt me again, especially about this. I silently nodded, my face burning as I slipped away. But I still didn't understand. If Lin Yixian was perfectly functional, why didn't he touch me? And it wasn't just 1 or 2 days. For 3 months after the wedding, he never went past that final threshold. The most sinful thing he did every day was just holding me tightly while we slept. I just don't get men. I truly don't. One night, Lin Yixian said he was going to read in the study and didn't return for a long time. I, who hadn't fed on human Jingqi for a while, was alone in the bedroom, and so hungry I was scratching at my heart and lungs. The food of a demon is a person's vital energy. Previously, I would sneak out at night and visit every household in the village, taking care not to harm their health. This time, I rushed into a bandit's hideout. I grabbed a hapless bandit and started draining his Jingqi until he was nearly a mummy before I let go. No, that's not enough. I need to find another one. As I was choosing my next meal, a shadowy figure suddenly charged in. Without a word, he slashed the throat of a bandit. The thick, rich blood vapor seeped out of the dead bandit and flowed into the man's stomach. I still had half a mouthful of Jingqi I hadn't swallowed, and the shadow's lips were still smeared with blood vapor. We stared wide-eyed at each other, and I realized something was very wrong. That man, shrouded in black, rolling in demonic energy, with blood-red eyes, why did he look so much like my sickly, defenseless husband? The man opposite me was also muttering to himself. That demoness with her boundless demonic aura and hands of white bone. Why does she look so much like my gentle, kind, beautiful, and proper wife? We both dropped the bandits we were holding and immediately turned and ran. I got home and saw Lin Yixian, who had just rushed back, standing right at the front door. He still had his unreverted blood-red demonic eyes. I held up my yet-to-heal white skeletal hand. He and me. Lin Yixian and I stared at each other in awkward silence for a moment. He finally understood that I was an ancient demon hiding behind a painted skin, and I finally realized that he was a powerful demonic lord who had seized a body. I turned and vanished in a puff of smoke, running for dear life. Lin Yixian called after me, but I didn't look back. Look back at what? I thought I had married a human and was experiencing the complex love and hate of a human-demon romance. But it turned out Lin Yixian was a demonic overlord who had possessed a body. Judging by the surging, overwhelming demonic energy, he was clearly a top-tier powerhouse. We had both been lying, with not a single true word spoken. What kind of childish game were two deceivers playing? I returned to the mountain. The other demons were curious to see me back so soon after getting married. How long were you married for? Why are you back with your parents? I told them the truth. The demons looked at each other. Wait, what did you say his name was again? Lin Yixian. Lin Yixian. That name sounds a lot like the demon lord who was defeated 25 years ago during the Great War between the immortals and demons. I'm doomed. For many days after, I retreated deep into the mountains, oblivious to the outside world, focused only on drinking my fruit wine. As I was dozing off, I suddenly heard a sound nearby. I groggily opened my eyes and saw Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was panting, his cloak nearly shredded by branches. He was obviously exhausted from travelling, and his face was covered in a rough beard, looking incredibly rugged. The other demons, fearing his dragon aura, quickly hid far away. Lin Yixian sent for me, didn't he? I said. Xiao Wu looked terrified, glancing furtively around him. Sue, you might not believe me, but I have to tell you, Lin Yixian is not human. He suddenly burst into the palace, said you two had a fight, and that you were hiding in the mountain and wouldn't see him. So he came to ask me to mediate. But he was completely covered in black demonic energy, and his eyes were red. Do you understand the terror I felt at that moment? I don't get it. You two argue, and he asks me to mediate. He even hauled me out in the middle of the night. I'm 20 years old, and that was the first time a demon lord carried me while flying through the sky. Oh, you poor fool, I thought. Maybe he asked you to mediate because you have a dragon aura, so the other demons wouldn't dare to touch you when you came into the mountain. But Lin Yixian could nonchalantly barge into the imperial palace and fly around with the emperor in tow? He's truly a demon lord. Xiao Wu continued. Sue, I don't care what that demon lord does to me. I just wanted to tell you his true identity. You absolutely must not be fooled by him. He hadn't even finished speaking when I burped from the wine. Drunkenly, I couldn't control my painted skin, and it peeled off halfway. Xiao Wu instantly performed what could only be described as a deer in headlights, soul leaving the body reaction. Since my identity was exposed, I didn't bother hiding it anymore. Sorry about that, I said. I'm not human either. Xiao Wu clutched his chest and finally took a ragged breath. Let's talk this out calmly. You should still wear that skin. You absolutely must put it back on. I suddenly became upset. Are you scared of me? Do you think I'm ugly? Suddenly a weary voice came from behind a tree. Are you here to mediate a fight, or to stir up trouble? I looked up and saw a dark demonic shadow emerge from behind the tree. Without a word, it yanked Xiao Wu aside and walked toward me. In that moment, he was in his true form, a dark, thick, demonic aura, blood-red eyes, and a terrifying pattern of demonic markings on his face. I had half my skin stripped off, the upper half of my body a white, bone-dry, rigid skeleton. This was the first time we had truly seen each other in our real forms. Lin Yixian and I had a long, serious talk. Lin Yixian said he was formed from the millions of years of malevolent energy gathered from a foul abyss. He was born without a sense of good or evil, unable to discern beauty from ugliness, a monster rejected by the world. The celestial venerable Jihong of the immortal realm led the other immortals to suppress her. In that great war between immortals and demons, he and venerable Jihong fought until the heavens shook, eventually suffering mutual defeat and falling together. After his demise, a wisp of his remaining soul wandered the human world for 25 years. Then he encountered a male corpse who had just died from a wolf bite and possessed that body. Because he was only a wisp of a soul at first, and the body was so broken, he would often cough up blood and appear sickly. It was also because he possessed a human body that he gained some of that man's memories, and for the first time he experienced emotions. Through me, he felt the goodness of humanity, and from that quiet, peaceful little village, he experienced the desire to live there for a long, long time. I wore human skin, and he possessed a corpse. The physical disguises hid our demonic and evil auras from each other, which is why we both believed the other to be an ordinary mortal. I was worried my demonic aura would hurt him, so I kept my distance. He was also worried her demonic energy would corrupt me, so he refrained from physical intimacy. We both, without intending to, used this clumsy, foolish way to protect the other. Seeing my silence, Lin Yixian walked toward me, step by step. Shue shue. Whether you're human or demon, it doesn't matter. I have always loved you. Only you. So, will you come home with me? Back to our home? My voice trembled uncontrollably. But, in this state... What state? Lin Yixian's demonic shadow expanded, causing the small demons watching to scream and scatter. He reached out and grasped my white, bony finger, not showing a trace of disgust. I'm not human either. The real me doesn't even have a human shape. Shue shue, do you hate this me? I shook my head, my face set. I used to think I only cared about looks, but seeing Lin Yixian's demonic form, I felt no rejection whatsoever. Lin Yixian smiled. So, outer appearance and looks don't matter. The soul is what's truly important. He was right. I took Lin Yixian's hand. I was an ancient demoness in human skin, and he was a demon lord reborn through a corpse. The real us was ugly, terrifying, and rejected by the mortal world. In a way, we were truly a match made in heaven. Seeing Lin Yixian and I reconcile, the demons hiding far away cautiously peeked out. On the other side, a large number of observing demons also quietly revealed themselves. Xiao Wu, stuck in the middle of a crowd of demons and monsters, was nearly in tears. Stop being lovey-dovey. Can someone please send me back first? The demons are starting to drool at me. Lin Yixian muttered, such a bother, and sent a subordinate to take Xiao Wu back. Afterward, he and I returned to the village. It was early morning, with smoke curling from the chimneys, and the delicious scent of cooking food drifting from every home. Old Mrs. Cheng had just finished feeding the chickens in her yard. When she saw Lin Yixian and me, she quickly greeted us. "What are you two doing up so early? Haven't eaten yet, have you? Come, eat at my place." I smiled my thanks, and Lin Yixian and I walked into old Mrs. Cheng's home. My skin suit was back on, and Lin Yixian's demonic form was gone. Now, we were just an ordinary human couple. The villagers were still kind and warm-hearted to us. We decided to stay here forever. Lin Yixian and I used magic to change the appearance of our skin over the years. Year after year passed, and we slowly grew old. We saw off old Mrs. Cheng, Uncle Li, and Aunt Wang. When the last elderly person in the village passed away, a man with a head of white hair suddenly descended upon the mountain. He floated down in front of me, his robes billowing, radiating a strong, immortal aura. I stared at his familiar face, utterly dumbfounded. Xiao? Xiao Wu? The man's expression was serene and detached. He looked up at me. That was the name I used during my tribulation. My true name is Ji Hong. Ji Hong? That name sounded familiar. Wait a minute. The immortal venerable who fought Lin Yixian and died with him was named Ji Hong. Seeing my shock, Ji Hong said calmly, "After I died in the battle with Lin Yixian, I was reincarnated as Xiao Wu. After completing my tribulation in the mortal world, I have now returned to the immortal realm and taken my place among the immortals." I stared at him for a long time. There's quite a difference between your original personality and your reincarnated one. Ji Hong's face turned slightly red, and he gave an embarrassed cough. I had no memory then, so it couldn't be helped. Suddenly, an arm wrapped around my waist from behind. It was Lin Yixian. His eyes were full of hostility as he looked at Ji Hong, and his demonic aura surged. "You finished your tribulation. Why aren't you back being an immortal venerable? Why are you back here? Do you want to fight me again?" Ji Hong didn't even look at him. "I'm here for Xue Xue. It has nothing to do with you." Lin Yixian immediately drew his weapon and began to fight Ji Hong. One an immortal venerable, the other a demon lord. They were both forces of nature. The fight shook the earth and the heavens, and I was terrified. I was afraid they would shake my little thatched cottage to rubble. So I screamed, "Stop fighting, both of you!" Lin Yixian quietly put away his weapon, and Ji Hong silently sheathed his sword. Even though they stopped fighting, Lin Yixian was still glaring. "Xue Xue has been my wife for 100 years. You won't steal my wife." Ji Hong's previous calm and detached expression shattered. "Who wants to steal your wife? I'm not that tasteless." "Then what are you doing here?" I asked. "I came to bestow a blessing," Ji Hong said, looking at me. "Bestow a blessing on me?" I watched as Ji Hong's gaze looked downward, landing on my stomach. "On your unborn child." "Me? My unborn child?" Ji Hong said, "I learned from the fates that you are pregnant, remembering that you took care of me during my tribulation. And because I once loved you, I thought I would come and bestow an immortal's blessing upon your child." Ji Hong then glanced at the bewildered Lin Yixian. "This demon lord probably doesn't know how to raise a child. Sue Sue, if you don't want him to be the father, you can always come to the celestial realm to find me." Lin Yixian immediately rolled up his sleeves, preparing to fight again. I used all my strength to finally see Ji Hong off. I was about to go comfort Lin Yixian when he walked over and gently embraced me. "Xue Xue," he murmured, his voice slightly lost. "Xue Xue, will you despise me?" "Despise you for what?" Just like Ji Hong said. "I've never raised a child," he said, reaching out to gently touch my lower belly. "I am a monster that crawled out of the foul abyss. I just learned how to be a husband, but I don't know how to be a father." "You don't need to worry about that," I said. "You're a great husband. You'll be a wonderful father. Besides, this is my first time being a mother too." Leaving that aside, I thought there was another problem to consider. One of us is an ancient demon, the other a demon lord. What kind of creature will our child be? Lin Yixian and I both looked down at my stomach, lost in contemplation. "My name is Mei Zhen, and I live in a village with my mother and father. My father is a handsome, refined schoolteacher. My mother is a gentle, beautiful physician. I also have a godfather, who is a military doctor, and only visits once a year. I asked my father what my godfather did, and why he was so mysterious. My father and my godfather have never gotten along, and my father sneered when he spoke of him. Him? He runs a funeral service. Oh, I see. That's why he always wears white. Later, I noticed a pattern. Every time my godfather visited, my father would become very clingy to my mother, acting as if he wanted to hang on to her. I wanted to join in the snuggle, but my father always chased me away. When you were little, your mother took you everywhere. You clung to her enough. You're grown up now. Your mother is mine. I pouted and refused to leave, changing the subject. Mum, what was I like when I was little? When you were little, my mother's eyes grew nostalgic. You were an egg for 3 whole years, and I had to sit on you and incubate you for 3 whole years. Mom is joking. She must be. I always thought I was just a village girl, an ordinary human in every way. Until one night, I heard a faint noise. Remembering the recent rumours of thieves in the village, I quickly grabbed a sickle, ready to rush out and catch the culprit. I opened the door and saw my father, covered in dark demonic energy, his eyes blood red, with a stranglehold on a masked thief's neck. My mother's demonic aura was overwhelming, and she was drooling at the thief with her skeletal hands, and floating above them was my godfather, radiating an ethereal immortal aura. He was a living god. Later, I learned the true identities of my parents and my godfather. Honestly, I wasn't particularly shocked. But the thing I found hardest to accept was that I truly was an egg when I was born. Seeing my distress, Dad came over to comfort me. Mei Zhen, it doesn't matter what you look like. Mom and Dad love you most of all. Mom nodded emphatically. Yes, and your egg was the prettiest of all the eggs. Godfather added wistfully. You're the first egg in the whole world to receive a personal blessing from this immortal venerable. Though, why does that sound so strange? But there was one thing Dad was right about. They all loved me most, and I loved them most of all.